Kia ora Aotearoa. Welcome to your latest severe weather information. And we can see this large weather system approaching the country, and with it, it brings strong winds and heavy rain. So let's take a closer look at what we're expecting. It is quite a slow moving system, so we're seeing that heavy rain from today, Thursday, into Friday, and for the North Island into Saturday as well. So as it moves up, that heavy rain moves along with it, as well as those strong winds. So currently we have a number of heavy rain watches and warnings in place. The heaviest of that rain expected in the ranges, but even away from the ranges, we could see some of that heavy rain. In addition, we've got strong wind watches in place, and that is for the possibility of those wind gusts reaching severe gales. So that's around 110 kilometers or more. But it is a watch at this point, indicating there is that possibility in those areas. So let's start off with the heavy rain warnings, and those are for the Westland District. Again, the heaviest of that rain, possibly up to about 260 millimeters expected in the ranges, but away from the ranges, even nearer to the coast, we could see accumulations over 100 millimeters of rain. And then with those strong winds pushing that rain over the mountains, we could see in the Canterbury headwaters of the lakes and rivers, some of that heavy rain spilling over again. The heaviest expected closer to the mountains, but away from the mountains, we could see rainfall above around 100 millimeters. And that is from later tonight and into Friday. Then further north in the Bulla district, again from Friday morning and for the bulk of the day, as that system moves northwards, we could see some heavy rain in that district as well. Then starting to look at the heavy rain watches down in Fiordland from this afternoon for the rest of today, that possibility of heavy rain, and then out in the Grey district as well. And then as we move northwards to the top of the South Island, again, mostly in the ranges, but as we know and as we've seen, that rainfall feeds into the rivers, and that is something to keep in mind for these places that are under a heavy rain watch. So from Friday morning and afternoon for the top of the South Island, and then later on Friday evening into Saturday morning for the lower North Island, mostly in places like the Tararua Range up towards Taranaki Maunga. But in the coming days, especially the rest of today into tomorrow, do keep an eye on metservice.com in case there are any updates. Then heading back down, looking at those strong wind watches that is in place already in the lower South Island parts of Southland, Fiordland, and the Queenstown Lakes district. And that is until tonight, 8 p.m. Those strong northwesterly winds, especially in more exposed areas. And then heading up towards the interior of the South Island, the Canterbury High Country, and especially those driving conditions. We know how it can be with those strong blustery northwesterly winds as they move across the island. And then that goes from later this evening into Friday, so quite a long period of those strong winds as that system moves northwards. Then the last area, of course, we couldn't escape it, Windy Valley after all, the Wellington region from Friday afternoon for the rest of the day, those strong northerly winds picking up. So if you are in those areas, if possible, do take that extra step of tying those items down, those loose items that could maybe go flying around. And of course, as always, keep up to date with the latest on metservice.com. That's all I have for you for today. Ma te wa.